You are listening to The Standard Show, the podcast that brings you the stories behind the standards with Matthew Childs and Cindy Paragill.
Hello, this is Matthew Childs and welcome to The Standard Show, the podcast that brings you the stories behind the standards. In this episode, we're looking ahead to BSI Healthcare Week 2025, taking place on the 9th to the 13th of June. It's a new event featuring 5 webinars aimed at helping professionals across healthcare and MedTech stay informed and prepared for a sector that's evolving fast. Whether you're a manufacturer, healthcare provider, or policymaker, the sessions offer relevant insights and practical guidance. I'm joined by Lena Cordie-Bancroft, BSI's sector lead for healthcare, to talk about why this event was created, what each webinar will cover, and how the topics were chosen to reflect the big issues shaping the future of healthcare. We'll also cover who the speakers are, who the event is aimed at, and what attendees can expect to gain from the week.
This is Cindy Paragill here with a reminder that you can rate, review, and subscribe to The Standard Show wherever you get your podcasts. And you can get in touch and find and follow us on social media too. All the details are in the show notes.
Hey Lena, welcome back to The Standard Show.
Hey, it's great to be back.
Now, the last time we had you on was to talk about World Patient Safety Day.
Oh, that was quite a while ago.
It was quite a while ago, but it's great to have you back on the podcast. Now, rather than a day, we are talking about a week, and specifically BSI Healthcare Week. So why have we created BSI Healthcare Week?
Oh, that's a great question. BSI has a major presence in MedTech and healthcare sectors, as many of us know, as both a regulator, which is the approved body and the notified body, as well as the national standards body where we work on the standards. And historically, BSI, we've partnered with AAMI and the FDA in the US to put on this international standards conference twice annually. Once we would have it in person, once in the US, and then once in person in the UK. And this was really our primary event in healthcare to focus on the role of standards to support regulation and to provide updates to industry on key regulatory changes. Then during COVID, this became, like many other events, virtual, but it didn't really feel as engaging and unique as it would have had been. And so we're just trying to rethink how we approach this and trying a new format, maybe to deliver on some key focus topics to a wider audience in manageable segments that fit into our busy workdays and gives you a bit of flavor of all these different aspects of healthcare and medical devices that BSI is working on and interested in.
Now let's get to those topics then. Can you give us a quick overview of what each of the 5 webinars will cover? And I'm really keen to learn, what makes the subjects of them especially relevant right now?
Oh, absolutely. So I'll go, just quickly, starting on Monday, we'll have a session on digital and artificial intelligence in healthcare. That is chaired by Rob Turpin, and he's going to be discussing the adoption of AI, regulation of digital mental health technology, which is a really big focus, especially in the UK this year, and as well as a training course that's being developed by Guy's Cancer Center about the validation of AI in its use in cancer care, and that's based on BS 30440, a UK standard that was published just over a year ago. Then we have Camilla Fleetcroft, who will lead a discussion on PFAS. Please don't ask me to pronounce the whole word for that, but we'll just call them forever chemicals. And the challenges related to their phase out for medical devices and the impact that is having on supply and the healthcare system. Then regulatory services team. They are joining us on one day to give us an update on the UK CA process here in the UK, and then some updates in status of the medical device and in vitro diagnostic device regulations in Europe. Then Thursday, you have yours truly highlighting one of my favorite topics. This is circular economy. I'll be highlighting the systems approach that the UK National Health System, the NHS, is taking towards circularity in healthcare, and then how to design circular thinking and principles into medical devices, whether they be new or redesigned to become more circular, more virtual, and so that those devices can then work within a green healthcare system. And then lastly, and I hate to say on Friday the 13th, we have Lindsay Ferrari, one of our standards committee managers, is going to lead us into the world of in silico trials, this computer simulations or virtual trials used in medical research fields to evaluate drugs, devices, or interventions before, during, and after the traditional clinical trials that manufacturers and pharmaceutical companies are really familiar with. So we have really a wide range of varying subjects, no real pattern to what we have, but all of these topics are very relevant to not just BSI customers, but healthcare stakeholders and industry in general, because they really showcase the breadth of the work that is involved in healthcare and what BSI is involved in within the healthcare sector.
Standards affect all of us every day, wherever we go, whatever we do. By defining good practice, they help people and organizations to do things better. Each year, standards bodies publish thousands of standards, and we are looking for more people like you to join our community of standards makers. We welcome applicants from all fields, backgrounds, and career stages. Our goal is a simple one: to have a balance of views around the table. By becoming a standards maker, you could help to improve the way things are made and done, like creating healthier and more inclusive workplaces, developing higher quality healthcare systems, making advances in AI governance, or accelerating climate action, and many, many others. So, if you want to make a difference and shape the world through standards, start your standards making journey now. Details of how to do so are in the show notes.
Lena, BSI is famed. We're very, very good at convening conversations. Now, these are webinars, but tell us about the format here. Is it a dynamic one?
Yes, it is. It's going to be very dynamic, and that's one of the standards and regulatory professionals. We love to talk, but we like to engage in that conversation, and so we really encourage our attendees to ask the questions. There'll be the chat mechanism, like we have in webinars, and just type in your question. I'm hoping that we'll be able to have that specific Q&A time, and depending on the speaker, some of them may want questions throughout. But then we'll have an opportunity to raise your hand and ask questions. But even if you would like to submit questions ahead of time, you can do that via our registration process and get some questions out ahead of time on any of the various subjects. So we really hope to really involve everybody, to encourage the discussions. No question is a dumb question, especially in healthcare when there are hundreds of topics to discuss, and really start to get people to hear and learn about topics that maybe are not a part of their everyday working life.
Now, is the event aimed at a specific audience, or is there something for everyone across the healthcare and MedTech sectors?
Yeah, so healthcare and MedTech, it covers so many diverse and interesting topics. We could really have webinars every day, or maybe every working day of the year, and not run out of things to talk about. But by highlighting the topics that we have selected, we are really confident that there is something that will appeal to almost anyone, whether they are currently in the MedTech and healthcare sectors or considering a change, considering moving into healthcare, or maybe they're just interested in it because everybody's been a patient at some point, or maybe they just want to learn something new. So yeah, we encourage anybody to come in and join us and maybe learn something new for the day.
So what's the one thing then you hope attendees will take away from the week as a whole?
Ooh, you're limiting me to one thing. Oh, that's good. No, I think that I would call this a really successful healthcare week if I was confident that people came out with every attendee at the end of the week was excited to have learned something new. Maybe they were curious to learn about one of the topics that was presented that they weren't familiar with, or even just be a little bit prouder about the impact that they are making in the MedTech industry. And maybe that's a topic that we have on a future BSI Healthcare Week. But I think the really important message, and one that I have said so many times, and I don't know if I hope it's not becoming Lena's cliche, but I really say this a lot and I mean it. We can't do everything, but we can each do something. And I really hope that this BSI Healthcare Week really starts to kick off some good conversations and gets people interested in something different than their normal everyday bit of work.
Well, thank you, Lena, for talking to us about BSI Healthcare Week.
Thanks for having me. I love it.
Now, to sign up and submit those questions for the event, follow the link in the show notes. And a reminder that the show notes are also where you can find details of our socials and all the other ways to get in touch with us here on The Standard Show.
You have been listening to an episode of The Standard Show, the podcast that brings you the stories behind the standards, with Matthew Childs and Cindy Paragill.
You just heard a Stripped Media production.